Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alexander Amaya Utulong Ngu, the founder of the Ngu School and the founder of No Globe Utopia. Today, I'm going to have a stream of consciousness where I'm going to try to make a connection between intelligence, consciousness, information, history, control, and the SARS catastrophe that's going on in Nigeria today. And not just that, but also many other global catastrophes, many other global events that are leading to um, um, chaos between different groups or different entities. So, to begin, I actually wrote a couple sort of bullet points that I'm going to use here to guide me in this conversation because I wanted to make it a bit more it's easier to follow. So first, I'm going to first introduce the idea of telepathy. So what is telepathy? So telepathy is the ability to communicate without any hindrance, without any barriers, right? And so now imagine a society where all the citizens or all the residents or whatever you want to call them can communicate telepathically. What does that entail? What does that mean? Well, just from thinking about it, that would mean that they'll all most likely be on the same page. Telepathic communication just means a lack of boundaries. So all the all the different brains are essentially just one brain. And why am I using that to introduce the conversation today? So now another analogy I'm going to also introduce is the analogy that's synonymous to this is the analogy of the drop from the ocean. If you take a cup or whatever and you go to the ocean and you take a cup of water out of the ocean, is that water different from the whole ocean? It is, but it also isn't, right? So it's distinct and unique, but it's also part of the whole. It's part of the full. And now that we've introduced that idea of telepathy, let's go to our ancient relatives. Now, with our limited knowledge, limited communication, limited access, or even possibilities of accessing information, we are incapable of understanding the reality of our ancient forefathers. All we could do is use the artifacts that we have today and use the written scripts or whatever you want to call them, books, anything written physically to give us some sort of perspective of what happened, not hundreds, not thousands, millions of years ago. So now, now that we've talked about ancient Egypt, now let's talk about data, information. Now, telepathy allows communication between different entities, different humans, in a smooth, effortless way where most likely every single human would be on the same page because they're the same thing, just like the drop in the ocean or the drop in the ocean or the cup from the ocean. I'm using telepathy because telepathy is essentially what we're trying to accomplish with our quest for knowledge, or intelligence, our mission to solve what intelligence is and how we came to this planet, right? Our goal is to maximize our communication. And all that means is that making it as fast as possible and minimizing communication as much as possible, right? So now let's give an example, right? So if you were born in the 17th century, you probably didn't have a cell phone or a computer. If you're born in the 19th century, 20th century, you got access to cell phones and landlines and televisions, and that was defined as advanced as advancement. Where now we can watch other people from around the world and we can communicate with them. That's what we're looking for, right? And now we have FaceTime. We have all these different communicational barriers have been broken. They don't exist anymore. So we're getting to that point where we're essentially going back to oneness. Now we can look online on Instagram and Twitter on all these different platforms and see what's going on around the world. We're not separated by all these different barriers anymore. And I think it's important to realize what the goal is. This becoming one again has an effect on each of us individually. Just like when you pour the ocean water back into the ocean, it just goes in and blends in. It loves it. It's a natural flow of things for the river to flow into the ocean, right? So that's what we're yearning for. That's what humanity is yearning for. We're yearning for that unity. We're yearning for that unified consciousness. And due to us coming together because of this fragmentalization of intelligence, due to the fact that we went from telepathic communicational abilities, then we went to be to oral communication, which there is very limited, very constrained, right? So if you weren't close to the person, you would never be able to hear it. Word of mouth was limited by physical boundaries, which is why till today we call intelligence essentially, or we define intelligence as maximizing communication and maximizing speed essentially, because that means minimizing barriers. The faster we go, the less limited we are. The speed of light is not limited by the physical reality of the world. Light doesn't give a fuck about the physical reality of the world. You guys see what you see where I'm coming from? We're yearning for that unified intelligence. We're yearning for that intelligence because that intelligence is connected to the unified intelligence of the universe, guys. That's what we're yearning for. And the more of this intelligence that we achieve, which is, as you guys can see, with the awakening of society, the awakening of the world, where our unification mentally has made humanity wake up and realize the injustices and and unfairness that has existed on this planet. Look at what's going on in Nigeria today with the SARS. Look at what's going on in actually all around the world. There's chaos all around the world. It's brewing. It's not just ongoing. The awakening has allowed individuals to realize the inadequacies and the inefficiencies of systems that exist today, that have existed for thousands and thousands of years. That these systems are not optimized or customized to benefit the universal consciousness of humanity. These systems have constraints on humanity, limiting humanity's access to this universal conscious data, this universal intelligence that humanity is yearning for. These constraints are constraints that were enforced, and we can see the remnants of this all the way till today. We can see it all the way till today. The conscious limitation of consciousness. And every time an inefficient system is designed, the system is designed to benefit a small group of people. Inefficiencies in all systems are designed to create work that benefits and spits out something that's worth something for another entity. It's not designed to be universally efficient. So now let's go back to our idea of telepathy. If all humans can communicate telepathically, then all humans would be on the same page. So by limiting communication between humans, you limit consciousness of those humans. And if you slowly allow the consciousness to build back up, then before those humans realize what their purpose was, you've already used them, or whatever entity has already utilized them for their benefit. So now let's go to, I'm going to use multiple eras to explain how inefficiencies in systems and lack of communication, limitation of intelligence, benefit to small group of people, and always is always a bad thing. So my analysis of this is not based on my morality, it's based on mathematical calculations. It's based on me calculating the the efficiency of any system, whether mechanical system, a biological system, a chemical system, doesn't matter. A philosophical system, it doesn't matter. We can test the efficiency. So now let's go to a communicational barrier, a constraint that was put on this planet, right? So now let's begin in contemporary times. Let's go to slavery, right? So because of the lack of communication between humans, for thousands of years, humans enslaved each other. Because the world couldn't see your sins, you took advantage of each other. That's the history of the world. Look at what happened in ancient Mesopotamia, the Babylonians. The Hammurabi Code came into existence, and the Hammurabi Code actually gave right to slaves. The Hammurabi Code was the birth of a new age. That's where the term an eye for an eye comes from. The world at the time needed a new set of rules. It needed to reconnect to the source. Even the slaves in the Babylonian times were given rights. An eye for an eye. Now, ancient Egypt, after um, the Hebrews of Egypt were free. Moses received the Ten Commandments. The Ten Commandments became the new set of rules for humanity. And every time humanity strays away from the truth, an apocalypse has to occur. An apocalypse, and here's what it's defined as. And this is a historical context, guys, because I've realized that these events happen cyclically, right? So an apocalypse is defined as a revelation, an unraveling, unfolding of things not previously known. That's an apocalypse. That's exactly what's happening when people get more connected via computers, via phones. Now we see what's going on in China, Nigeria, USA. Now we are given exposure to the reality of what's going on in the world, the people that take advantage of darkness. So if all humans were telepathic, we'll all be on the same page. But we've been given crumbs of intelligence. We began limited by our voices and distance. Then we started to write. Today, we text, we call, we Zoom, we live on Instagram or whatever you want to call it. Even though we're still disconnected, the efficiency has risen a little bit, and we're realizing the truth and the inefficiencies of the systems that have existed. So, after this revelation, this apocalypse, this unraveling of of everything, the the rise of truth, the rise of light, the end of darkness. Look at our look at humanity's journey so far. We say we're getting smarter every 10 years, as the scientists call it, the computer scientists call it. We're just increasing our velocity and increasing our velocity as in communicational speed. That's pretty much it. We're increasing our velocity. That's it. We want to get faster. Physically, we want to get faster. Mentally, we want to get faster. Verbally, we want to get faster. In every way. That's what we define intelligence as. And you can see what's going on in the world right now. Look what's going on in Nigeria. The revelation of truth. We see what's going on. We don't have drip truth anymore, where truth was passed down in a drip therapy like way, where it's controlled, it's limited. We now see the truth live. We're now becoming more and more one. We're now experiencing the revelation. We're experiencing the apocalypse. The symbolism of Moses and the Ten Commandments signifies a birth of a new age. After the Egyptians, Hebrews were freed by the invaders of Egypt. Those were the perpetrators. Moses brought those 10 commandments to restart the world again with a new set of rules for humanity after the revelations. What's going on in 2020 and beyond is the beginning. So after this revelation, this unraveling of everything, the emergence of truth, the new rules are written by the people or by the entity that was at the runt of that existing system. So that's the reason why even in Egypt, Moses wrote the Ten Commandments. He said it was given to him by God with the religious, spiritual perspective. But only the people that were the they were actually experiencing the slavery, only they get to be part of the writers of the rules because only they can understand. And that's what Revelations was all about. It's about the revelation of the truth. So my question is, has the world experienced a revelation? Has now, from a racial American history perspective, have the Black Americans actually been freed from slavery? Like I said before, the new rules are written by the entities that were experiencing the slavery. The benefactors of the slavery don't get to have a say in the new rules. An eye for an eye, all the way back to Mesopotamian times. Now, relatively, Egypt, look at Egypt, when they freed the slaves from Egypt. The new rules, the Ten Commandments, had to be written as the new rules of the planet. And now we're in 2020 and we're experiencing what I would like to call, or what I think is the beginning of a revelation, if we're not already in the middle of it. Revelation of the truth. Now we see what's going on all around the world live. Those constraints have been taken off. Now we're getting more unified. Our unified consciousness is getting smarter. And now we're realizing the inefficiencies in all systems, economic systems, political systems, educational systems. Every system that exists is extremely inefficient, and they're inefficient because they're designed to benefit one entity and not a universal consciousness, not a universal global world, globe. Every system on this planet can be 100% efficient if it's designed to account for all the right variables and it's designed to account for humanity and it's designed to fit with the source code of the universe. Every system. That is my reason for starting New Globe Utopia. That's the reason why I had this very strong drive. It's to help the average human reconnect themselves to that truth. Because once we're reconnected, it's like pouring the ocean water back into the ocean. We become one again. Like I said, if we were all telepathic, we will all be on the same page. And this knowledge, I would love to share this knowledge with the whole world. This is the reason why we yearn to be connected to each other. This is the reason why we yearn to become one again. And this is the reason why entities that promote our fragmentalization, our separation, can be tested. There's an efficiency test. If the system is inefficient and is not optimized to maximize humanity's potential, if it does not fit with the source code of the universe, that system does not belong. That system is designed to exploit.